Alright guys, Vol here, and it's time to wrap up the final saga, the final episode in this series that is the Battle Above the Rinderwinds Battle Reports. And for this one, it's Space Marines and Chaos yet again. Me being Chaos, of course, up against the Ultramarines, that rare and exotic breed of Space Marines, as you guys all know. We are playing for one single objective in the middle of the table for this one, being represented by the model you're seeing in the picture right now. It is a Space Marine with a flag and half of his body missing. To win the game, you must have the most scoring units within 9 inches of this marker in the middle of the field, and you have to have the entire squad within that 9-inch radius. You can't have like a chain of sort of guys leading from the objective through to the other side of the board. So with that in mind, we go to the next photo where he's deploying his 2 tactical squads split up into combat squads. Might even be 3, no, it's 2, yeah, because we're playing with the Dawn attack, Dawn raid scenario, and he's got basically 4 groups of 5 guys individually in there, and I assume this plan is just to move forward in turn 4 or 5 and just creep onto the objective and take it. Next photo shows you my corresponding deployment, which is a Rhino and a squad of Berserkers, plus the Demon Prince behind. Can't really quite remember whether we were meant to play with night fighting rules, but I think that me and my opponent agreed to have night fighting for the first round. Not too sure what the actual mission statement was for the actual tournament, but that's how it went. And the plan here is just to keep this Rhino moving forward and ultimately to destroy his Space Marines in close combat. That's the plan. I've got stuff which can just charge forward at a stationary target like that and assault quite nicely, and if I wipe out all of the scoring troops, I should be able to win this pretty easily. Next image, you see his army coming on the board first turn. He has got first turn here, and he's got a Tech Marine with a Thunderfire cannon, he's got a Dreadnought, he's got a Vindicator, a Land Raider, a Redeemer, and Predator. This guy has Sicarius in his army, and Cassius, and Cronus in the Predator, where the other 2 special characters are in the Land Raider with a group of Assault Terminators, of course. So that's what's going on there. But if you go to the next photo, you get to see his deployment a bit more closely. I think his plan really is just to barge on forward and blast the crap out of my guys, allowing him to just creep onto the objective later on. So if I can avoid that by just moving forward with my guys as fast as I can and engaging that squad quickly and destroying them, I should be able to take it. Next image, my Obliterators have come on in my turn, and he didn't actually achieve too much in his own first turn, but with the Obliterators moving on, I can begin to sort of move into cover and start blapping away with las cannons at his Vindicator and possibly his Land Raider, depending on how lucky I feel. And the other side of the photo, I've basically just created a big column of tanks, really, just moving straight on ahead. The idea really is just to stay central, just avoid his outflanking unit. He's got 1 more tactical squad in a Rhino, which has been given the scout rule by Sicarius. So I'm not too sure where he's bothered to do that, because really this game is all about the center, and it's not really about the rear or the flanks or anything. It's just a matter of going straight up ahead, and if I can basically move these Rhinos into a position where they can just stay there for the entire game and the Land Raider goes and does the work, I should be able to do this, hopefully. Next image, a bit more of an overview. My opponent moving forward with his Vindicator and Land Raider. They begin shooting at my army with quite a lot of shooting, to be honest. He's got missile launchers galore. In fact, if we go to the next photo, you can see what he's got. He's got a multi-melter from the Dreadnought, autocannon, and twin bolters from Cronus' tank. The Vindicator not quite just in range yet, but he's got 2 missile launchers from the tac squads in the rubble. So every turn I'm going to have to endure quite a bit of firepower, but if I can stay in cover, stay in the vehicles, I'm hoping that I might just be able to pull it off. Next image, I move forward full bore, 12 inches with everything. He's actually already wrecked one of the Rhinos with the Berserkers, so the Berserkers start moving forward into cover. Don't really mind that too much, because the Berserkers just, I mean, they can soak up fire for a while with cover there. I can always go to ground if needed, and you know, in the last turn of the game, if any of them are alive, I can just go into that objective. Popping smokes with everything else that can, and the Demon Prince hopping over to follow along with the Land Raider. The idea there is just to follow along with the Demon Prince, and if he survives, he'll be a great asset for killing troop squads and scoring units in my opponent's side of the board. Next image, he has come on with his Rhino there from outflank in turn 3, I believe. So given that he's done that, I may as well, in fact I decided here to just go off and head him off with the Demon Prince, because that would give the Demon Prince something really easy to do, means that he's less likely to shoot at the Demon Prince with the stuff that's closer to his side of the board, and it will prevent him from sort of driving around and then coming into the objective range in sort of one of the later turns of the game. So since he's decided to do that, that's how I'm going to respond. Next image here, and by the way, guys, I'm not too sure if you noticed, but I believe this is the same table setup that we had for the last game. No matter, I think we might have shifted around a little bit. But his Land Raider Redeemer coming on in range of the Obliterators, so just moving straight on ahead and not killing anything with the assault cannons. So what I could do in the following turn is just creep up and blast it with my twin-link melter guns, and then assault with the Defiler. So I might actually try that. Next image, his Vindicator moving forward, but I think missing with a critical shot from its, its Demolisher cannon. So getting off nice and lightly there, but I've got smokes on my tank, so I should be able to survive a fair bit of this. Next photo, the Demon Prince, just moving closer to this tank over here, should be into assault range. With warp time, you can re-roll your dice to hit, so that will allow me to hit a moving vehicle a lot more easily. And Monstrous Creature should be able to penetrate the rear armor fairly easily, even though warp time doesn't affect the damage rolls, I believe, because it's 2 wound rolls specifically in the rules. Next image, the plan goes ahead, and the Obliterator's moving forward to start shooting at his Redeemer, and the Defiler moving around outside of the cover as well, so that if I don't pop the Redeemer, I could always just assault it with the Defiler there, and, who knows, with some 6s, I've got 6 attacks. If I get a single 6 in, I might even be able to pop it with the Dreadnought Close Combat Arms. Next image, he has unfortunately wrecked my Land Raider at this point, which really hurts my plan, because I was hoping to keep the Land Raider alive just one more turn, because as you can see, 12 inches from that Land Raider through to the rubble where the Marines are hanging out would be enough to disembark the Terminators and then assault them through the cover, dice willing, to actually start ripping up that squad and really give me a big advantage in the game. But as it stands, the Terminators are going to have to hang to this cover and avoid, dying completely from further Demolisher Cannon shots and engaging the Dreadnought in close combat and so forth. So that's a bit of a pain. Next image, what I decided to do here, and this in hindsight was probably a mistake this game. I luckily managed to blow up the Land Raider with my melter gun, so that's a big plus. But then I decided to also assault with the Defiler and the Obliterators. I'm assuming you can assault the squad that came out of the vehicle you destroyed by shooting at it. Maybe that's illegal, but this tournament I haven't been playing everything 100% right, as you guys know. But regardless of that, my opponent didn't pull me up on it, so I've assaulted this unit with both units and with 2 special characters in it. Idea here is really to wipe out the special characters and weaken the Terminators as much as possible, but realistically what I should have done is just kept both units back in such a way that he'd have to assault one at a time if he wanted to kill them both, buying me precious time later in the game so I can keep the Terminators away from the center of the table, where, to be honest, they are, let's be fair, they're a bit of a threat, because if the Terminators just head back towards the center and start killing my troop units, then that's, going to mean I'm going to lose. Next image, the Demon Prince actually fails to destroy the Rhino in close combat, just not getting enough hits and damage rolls on it. So in his following turn, he's just moving out of the way here and starting to shoot at it with all the guns he's got. Fortunately for me, not destroying it, so I'll have another shot, another crack at it next turn. Next image, the Defiler has gone down to the Thunderhammers, but the Obliterators have hung in there and managed to avoid the worst of his close combat attacks, and in the process of all of that I've actually managed to kill Sicarius, which is the plus, and do a wound on Cassius. Unfortunately, Power Fists don't auto-kill Cassius because he's something like Toughness 6, but I'm continuing to bash at him just to try and kill that HQ, and you actually get an extra point in the game if you kill the enemy's most expensive HQ, which I've done now, so feeling quite good about that. Next image here are the Terminators getting awfully close to that Dreadnought. I've moved 2 Rhinos towards the middle of the field just to try and hang them there and possibly assault with them in later turns if I get desperate. But the Terminator's just really wanting to hold up the Dreadnought. If I can attack first in his close combat phase and bash him with the Chain Fist, I might be able to beat him up and then just in the later turns move out and go towards the Marines. But I'm just always worried about that Demolisher Cannon landing on the Terminators and really giving them a lot of crap. Next image, he assaults me, and not really too happy about this because the Dreadnought killing all of the Terminators except for the Chain Fist, and the Chain Fist unfortunately fluffing its rolls and not managing to kill the Dreadnought at all. So with Zufar not able to do anything with his Lightning Claws, it's going to come down to an epic struggle between the Dreadnought and the Chain Fist, but the Dreadnought's always going to be able to go first, so I'm predicting that he wins this fight and moves on to snag my Rhinos, so things looking pretty bad now. Next image, unfortunately, the Rhino carrying my squad of tactical, well, not so much tactical, but the Chaos Space Marines has been destroyed. We've put in an extra piece of terrain in place of the Rhino just to represent the difficult terrain from the wreck or the explosion. And I've got 4 guys left over after a barrage of Thunderfire cannon shots at them, which, to be honest, was lucky. The amount of hits I got in those guys was just extreme, so passing that many armor checks was, armor saves, was really fortunate. And next image, he's finally dealt with my obliterators and moving forward towards the berserkers. And if the game doesn't end soon, I am probably going to lose because I've got two squads, in fact 3 squads within range of the objective. But he's got 2 of them out of rhinos now, and he can start assaulting with terminators and things, and easily wiping out squads that I've got. Not to mention the shooting that he's got up his sleeve as well. Over the other side of the battlefield, the dim print's doing a lot better now, surviving a round of shooting again from the Space Marines and bashing the Rhino. He's going to have to take another round of shooting to the face as well. I think he's got a couple of wounds left, so he might be able to survive if he's lucky, but I'm expecting him to die. The important thing is, though, that I've actually managed to keep this scoring unit away from the center, so I won't have to contend with them with anything else. And next image, the Terminators are not, managing to run particularly far. So fortunately for me, they're probably at least a turn away due to not really getting a very high run roll, and my other squad's, too far away from them. The objective is within sight, though, as you can see. Next image, in desperation, I have charged his tactical Space Marines with my 3 Chaos Space Marines. The very least I can do here is tie them up in combat, prevent him from shooting further at my Chaos Space Marine squad, and preventing one of his squads from walking forward to the objective, possibly allowing me to deal with the other ones later on. And if you go to the next and final photo of the game, what you can see here is that my Terminator is still in close combat with his Dreadnought. Luckily, I managed to rip the combat arm off one with a lucky counterattack and neutralize that. The Berserkers are hanging in the rubble, but they're within 9 inches of the objective. I've moved forward another Rhino Fiddle troops also with a 9. The Terminators aren't in range yet. And during his 4th turn, he neglected to move forward. He neglected to countercharge my Chaos Space Marines in combat with his small combat squad. He could have eliminated them with a combo charge there and then consolidated towards the objective, but he was complacent in that and just forgot or didn't bother, and that cost him the game, because when we rolled to see whether the game went to turn 6, I needed a 3+, well, he needed a 3+ for the game to continue. A 1 or a 2 would have meant that the game ended, and with him counting on that chance to continue it and just completely snuff me out, the dice roll ended up being a 1, giving me a big victory, and essentially that meant that I placed 3rd at the tournament, which was a bit of an upset. It was only out of 22 people, but I definitely wasn't expecting 3rd place. People loved my army. People, gave me decent sportsmanship. The composition of my army was nice. I actually had a weaker army than a lot of other people. So really quite happy and proud of the result, number 3. But as you can see, it could have been much worse. I got quite lucky in some of the games, especially this one. In fact, if the game had not ended, he could have easily crushed me and put me down to something like 10th place, or even halfway through the whole event. But great stuff, guys. Had a really good time. Hope you had a good time watching the reports. And if I can, I'll get some more bat reps out to you guys in future. See you later.